What's up, YouTube? I just want to make a quick video real quick. Currently in my kitchen, and I'm not going to do like a bunch of cuts in this video, I don't think. Unless when you start watching this, there's a bunch of cuts in the video, and then I decided that I can't talk well enough to do this. But man, I was just thinking about on the way over here, I had someone message me about how to restring a guitar, because I posted on my Instagram that it's one of my least favorite things to do, and I was reminded really quick, like, YouTube is how I learned what I'm posting right now. This is how I learned really how to play guitar, and I'll explain that a little bit. I got my first guitar when I was 9 years old. I took lessons at a local music store here in Seymour, Indiana, with somebody I'm friends with now. Took lessons for probably about 3 months, and then I just got tired of it. I learned like G, C, D chords wise, and I just didn't have the passion for it. And I think in 2006, I think Guitar Hero came out, and I think Guitar Hero, like, looking back, I don't like playing that game. It's super annoying to play, but it kind of like brought guitar back into the mainstream popularity in 2006. Everything was just kind of, it's a guy literally just walking his dog, and I think he thinks I'm talking to him. But 2006 was like the big era where pop music had really taken the world by storm, and now we see like rap is definitely carrying the torch now. But yeah, Guitar Hero kind of brought back the love for guitar that a lot of people had, and it did for me as well. I loved the way the guitars looked. My dad's a drummer, and then he was in bands all his life, so I knew the guitar players in his bands, and I thought it was cool. But I didn't have the desire to really like pick it up and start learning for myself. That game came out, and I was like, I think I could do some of this stuff that people are doing on the game. And so I went back and took lessons for about 3 months, learned some more chords. This is when I was like 12. Learned some more chords, learned a couple scales, pentatonic scale, blues scale, stuff like that. Stuff that people learn when they're definitely getting started. But the difference between the first time and this time was that I started to absolutely just love playing guitar. I couldn't wait to pick it up. I couldn't wait to get home from school so I could play. I'd spend hours in my room just practicing. And finally, we finally got like fast internet at my house. What would be considered fast internet for 2007, 2006. Basically, I could pull up MySpace and have YouTube open at the same time, so things were getting a little crazy. I don't think I really used YouTube much, but in around like 2009, YouTube started exploding. At least in where I'm from, like, internet's not super fast where I lived in. Just a real small town, real small community, but the YouTube just kind of, we started getting our first like people who were like YouTubers and stuff like that. And what I found was there was like slowly starting to be a ton of guitar tutorials coming up. So I dove into that, and I think I attribute, I learned the main chords from the teachers that I had early on. But where I really tell people how I learned how to play guitar is YouTube. Which is so crazy. Like, if you would tell somebody that 20 years ago, or even 10 or 15 years ago, that you learned off the computer, like, it'd be like, yeah, right. Some people buy those, those, what are they called, Mel Bay books or whatever. They have like these chord charts in them, and most people don't end up keep going with it because it's just not very interactive. You're kind of relying, but YouTube kind of gave you someone there who was face to face. It gave you stuff to practice, and it really put the ball in your court. If you wanted to be good, you had to log on there and put in the time. And he's like a fan of some of the music I've been making lately. He messaged me and asked about restringing guitar. I was like, man, go to YouTube. And it kind of reminded me, like, I still use that every day. I was restringing a guitar just yesterday, and I still went to YouTube to tune the guitar up after, because I didn't have a tuner laying around. I just pulled up YouTube, and I can tune it by pitch. I think we really don't take, us guitar players, we don't take the appreciation for what YouTube has done for guitar music. And man, it's just, if you were out there today and you're wanting to get in music, you're wanting to start a career trying to do this thing, or just maybe you just want to pick up from a hobby, I teach guitar still, but you could learn from way better teachers on YouTube than I'll ever be able to teach you. I would highly encourage you to try that first. There's some things that like, there's some really specific things. I started really getting into theory a couple years ago, and it would have been really nice to have a teacher that I could have had explain certain concepts that I could ask questions about. But if you're just wanting to get started with some chords, maybe with some scales, learning how to solo was like a big thing for me. I wanted to be able to solo over any key. The way I learned how to do that was through YouTube. Just learning the certain scales that work for different kinds of keys, different, if it's a 12-bar blues, what you can do to solo over it to make sure that you're still in key whenever it's switching. It's just, the technology we have is amazing, and you have no excuse at this point for yourself if you're not trying. If you want to learn something now, man, the ball's in your court. We have everything to make that happen. So I would encourage you today, man, if you're just if you're wanting to get started in music, if you want to get started singing, I've done a lot of singing lessons through there. It's still not great. Took singing lessons personally too, mostly just keep my voice intact when we were on the road a lot with The Lasting Hope. But if there's something you want to learn how to do, the ball's in your court. Figure it out. Go to YouTube and type in guitar basics, and it's going to pull up 10 million videos on how to do that. Maybe I'll start posting some myself. I'm really wanting to start adding more. You're hearing a lot of guitar and hip hop and rap music right now, and I think that that's something I'm going to really pursue heavily. If you've heard Bad News and Solo, those songs are heavily inspired by the guitar. In fact, Solo was just written off the guitar riff, and Bad News, like the song sounds completely different if I take out that crazy wah effect guitar that's in the background, and it's basically just me kind of freestyling some scales over it, so it's cool. People always say it sounds like a Cali vibe, and really I'm just running through Logic and playing a pentatonic scale over it. And so if you don't know what those words mean, those are good things to start looking up. So I'm gonna maybe cut this video because I realized I said the word like 1,000 times. I just have a hard time speaking. But I thank you guys for watching, and go learn something today on YouTube. You got plenty of resources to do it.